Breaking news, a fast-moving brush fire that erupted near homes and a school in the South Bay caused big problems after it moved into an industrial area. Tonight, the fire continues to rage at a pallet yard and firefighters are on the defensive. Good evening. I'm Brandon Lewis in for Carla Chiquetto.
And I'm Barbara Lee Edwards. The so-called Caliente Fire broke out just before noon today in the 5300 block of Airway Road near Caliente Avenue in Otay Mesa. Tonight, more than 450 acres have burned and dozens of homes are evacuated. News 8's Richard Allen is live right now at that pallet yard. Richard?
And Brandon Lee and Barbara Lee and Brandon, that's right. You can see the firefighters still here on the scene. You can see, though, thankfully, those flames have died down. What you saw about an hour and a half ago, you saw thick flames lapping up into the air. Thankfully, that is not the case now. But again, those pallets, those thousands of pallets provided the perfect fuel for these flames. And you can hear those propane tanks there exploding in the background as walls of flames leaped up into the air. As those pallets burned, it sent thick rolls of black smoke into the air, compromising the air quality here. Now, the major concern for firefighters who are on the defensive right now is to contain this fire and to make sure it does not spread to the nearby businesses here in this industrial park in Otay Mesa. Now, as you said, the fire at last check was only 10% contained. Some 450 acres burned already. At one point, firefighters thought they had this fire under control, that it had stopped spreading, but that was not to be as the winds carried it across the canyon and here into this industrial park. Now, earlier in the day, evacuation orders went out. Hundreds of people, mostly people who work here in this neighborhood, hurried to get out at the same time, creating a number of traffic jams. Now, here's some of those evacuees as they tried to get out of harm's way.
Very dangerous, especially with the winds, and it's a lot of grass, so it'll tend to pick up quick.
It's extending now. It's extending. I see all these noises. I think pallets are falling off. I don't know. So, yeah, it gets dangerous right now.
And again, as you can see, so many firefighters here still on the scene. While the flames have died down significantly, this is still an extremely active scene. They will be out here through the evening and into the night, possibly into tomorrow morning, to make sure this fire does not spread any further. Brandon and Barbara Lee, back to you.
All right, Richard, thank you. While the fire has now consumed that pallet yard, it didn't start there.
No, it began across a field filled with brush near San Isidro High School and a number of homes. Fire crews quickly surrounded the area, and with help from airdrops and the wind, fire officials say the flames pushed southeast away from buildings.
Initially, it was panic simply because we're so close and you see it on TV all the time, but you never expect to actually see it right behind your house.
Administrators at San Isidro High kept a close watch, but no evacuations were ordered.
And now let's get a look at the fire from above. Dev Hankey is live in Chopper 8, and you can really appreciate the vast 450 acres that this fire has consumed.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we've been focusing a lot of our attention on this pallet yard because it has been such a spectacular sight. This was sort of the ending point where the fire did the most damage, but this is the canyon as we look to the west where it all broke out. It broke out just southeast of San Isidro High School, and then it traveled across the canyon. Shannon Handy was reporting earlier, talking about the fact that they felt like they had an upper hand on this, but then it really started to take off again. They had tankers out at one point in the afternoon, 4 different tankers, 2 that came in from Hemet and 2 from Ramona. There you can see the fire retardant that they laid down so that this fire didn't spread any further. And then once it moved through this canyon, it landed at this pallet yard, and it's pretty well burned itself out, although there's still quite a bit burning here. Done a great job of keeping it contained, really concerned about the nearby industrial businesses here, but they are doing a great job with these ladder trucks getting this to stay within this pallet yard. They've been making drops with helicopters around the perimeter. We continue to see those. There's 4 helicopters still working it, and then of course countless ground crews here doing their work to keep this, again, just contained to this area, this pallet yard here in Otay Mesa. That's the very latest from up above it in Chopper 8. Brandon and Barbara Lee, back to you.
All right, Deb, thank you. And now for a closer look at how the winds have affected today's firefighting efforts, we turn to Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis.
That's right, Barbara Lee. We are talking about the winds being a key factor for today. So as we had mentioned previously, this fire started near San Ysidro High School and then moved towards the southeast. Now, you're looking at a whole lot of brush that it also went over. And now it did get closer towards that pallet yard, and that's where we continue to see those embers just kind of burning as we go into tonight, and the firefighters trying to get a hold on that. Now, as you can see with the movement from the northwest towards the southeast, that's because of the wind speed directions that we had earlier today. So those winds really picking up, but now they're starting to die down. We had wind speeds that were into the teens, and we were seeing that for Otay Mesa as well as Chula Vista. Now we're down to less than 10 miles per hour, but still the gusts picking up. So that onshore flow looks to continue for another couple of hours before dying down by later on tonight.